Some they call it humidity.
All right, it's 6 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Ocean Highways Authority of Nassau County, Florida. We get
Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we do thank you for our many blessings. We thank you for this great country that we live in. And I ask, Lord, that you be with our leaders nationally and locally, that you would help them and protect them. Pray for the people in Israel and Ukraine, Lord, that you would give them safety, and that those two things would come to an end soon. We pray, Lord, that you would meet with us now and give us wisdom and discernment in all that we do. We ask that you watch over our first responders, our servicemen and women. You would protect them, and that you would remind everyone reason for this season that we're going through now, your birth. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Commissioner Cole,
Here.
Commissioner Fullwood,
Present.
Commissioner Nelson,
Here.
Vice Chair Taylor,
Here.
Chairwoman Hill.
here.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I didn't have my mic on. So recognition of elected officials, honored guests that I see one city commissioner present, Commissioner Ross. We also have Greg Hill from the Savage and our pro tem court director last meeting, certainly Kaufman. Did I miss anybody?
Is your microphone on?
Oh, Matt, I just saw that you were here from Savage. My mic is on. I will bring it a little bit closer. Can you hear me now?
A little bit better. It's better.
Okay.
Okay.
So public comments, item 6, we have
None.
public comments. None. Approval of the minutes. We are going to postpone approval until next week. Patrick wanted to check on one item for review regarding the shape meeting. If anybody's having other edits, I know this one, follow-up. Please go to rate that one.
Yes, it's on page number 9, paragraph E. Second sentence. They're expressing the whole with 2 coats.
Coats.
I wouldn't. put
Sorry.
that one here.
Not two votes.
Not 2 coats.
We'll wait till, did you have any others?
No, that's the one line.
Okay, great. So it takes us to the board attorney report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It's pretty self-explanatory, not answering the questions. And just, move on to the next, if there have any questions.
You heard anything back yet?
No, sir.
Okay.
7C, the financial report. The financial report for November 2023 year.
For the monthly period report in your package, part of our should have seen
It wasn't, it's in the package.
All these, speed of the meeting versus the end of the month, so, get it out for the meeting pack. On the November, nothing unusual, obviously, we received the quarterly fee from Savage. The contract renewal is November 1st each year, so the quarterly fee, and the increase in quarterly fee based on inflation. We see the reimbursement from for insurance, the insurance fund. So those are the 2, all the expenses are normal. So no other comments or anything about the audit. Fee was paid, and that's just half of the audit. No unusual items in custom accounts, and obviously the bank balances. So, and then on our reimbursement, obviously we continue to regularly submit for reimbursement. We expect that, as we discussed at the last meeting, we will have to pay the full legal fee through the November billing. We have not yet received the November.
I just received it this afternoon.
Okay, so now that we have that, we will calculate the final payment. I don't anticipate any issues as far as making that final payment and being able to catch up on all of the fees. Have all the fees minus the currently 10% discount.
Madam Chair, I have a question. I did ask for a 15% instead of 10.
Okay, yeah, I think 15 is what we started with that, when we were initially discussing the discount.
Hey, Eva, come on. Blah, blah, blah. We cannot hear Eva.
Okay, well, I will slow down also. Is that what you be able to?
Okay, this one.
Yeah. Okay, I had asked for so, could we request 15% discount?
You can request. Sure, it's not gonna get. So, say for.
Good luck.
Sure, we can check here, let's have a conversation so that. If once whatever group can be applied, that word you. Right, yeah, so I was gonna instruct the, your ruling person can come up with what the exact amount is, essentially to catch us up. And send that in one communication before the end of the year, so whatever that amount on the team, whatever it is, you'll approve as far as the discount. So, and like I said, yeah, we'll be 13%. Okay.
Here under expenses, the insurance, what insurance is that?
Board operations. So you're looking at the November actuals?
I'm looking at the budget.
So there's 2 insurance on
Right.
here. So there's the,
Workman's comp insurance. And
so there's, sorry, 3 insurance. So obviously there's insurance under commission direct, there's a workers' comp insurance. So the insurance under commission direct is under, director officers, commission related.
is that the FMIT
Uh,
or is that separate?
not sure. I think they're all coming from MIT.
Yeah.
So I think they're all coming teams with workers' comp insurance. And then obviously down below in port operations, you have insurance with 18206, which is the port asset.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's 3 lines of insurance.
I was looking through all the declarations from FMIT and I just couldn't match anything up with those numbers. But as far as the workman's comp, uh, that's included in our insurance, right, with FMIT?
So it includes, no, it's listed separately here, it's 5,500, I didn't, so I saw the policy came in. I didn't look in detail at that to see what was listed on there.
Well, it says here net premium is $20,079, and that's not what's listed here.
So that's, if you put them all together, including property insurance, and still, so I haven't looked to see.
Yeah, I've got them for each category: property insurance, cyber liability insurance, automobile liability,
Right.
which I think is ridiculous, but and all that. I just couldn't get it to add up with the figures you got in there. You might want to recheck that for me.
Yeah, I'll check, see.
Okay.
We had the, private sector meeting, we talked, what the comp, what the costs were involved and things like that, so. But yeah, I mean, those are the items, so
Okay.
I will look into it. I don't have an answer for you right now.
And the Ports Council representatives, we've got 10,000 for that. Is that for whoever we get to do that to travel and difference? Is that what that was for?
So in the budget?
Yeah.
So that was to replace the program, correct? Or whoever, you know,
For travel and expenses, yeah.
we're gonna have a part-time person, whatever that one to be, right? So at this point, I don't need a plan, but.
Chairman, I'm sorry, Commissioner Wilkins.
Is that right?
If you look back to the minutes from our budget approval
Yeah.
meeting, we discussed including 10,000 because that's how much we had paid to Florida.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. What about the business development expense? What did we decide that was?
Don't you know?
1,000? No, 5,000?
5,000.
It's not travel, is that travel related to the?
No, that's separate. So 10,000 would be the placement, Port Council representative,
Right.
with $1,000 travel. And then $5,000 is the expenses, which were daily expenses as far as conferences and things like that. So,
We just left it in there. Okay.
Did we pay that in Florida?
no,
No.
yeah, she just got a charge.
Yeah.
Are you proposing the 5,000?
No, no, absolutely not.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Here, did you ask whether the auditors would be able to come to present? As part of the meeting?
No, it's not. But yeah, we're still working on the audit. And so, I don't know when it's gonna be done, first of all, that's the first priority. To get it done, with the audit, like, I certainly asked, but did not.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful just to have them. For the audit, for the board.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, did we vote to approve the minute?
No, we
No.
are tabling that until the next meeting.
Oh, okay.
Patrick,
That-
wanted to
that's
check
fine.
on something with the shading.
Okay, thank you.
So that takes us to the report of the report from the operator.
Yeah, but
Happy to answer any questions, whether the kind of report from a member.
Did you want to talk through it? Usually we do like a.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That,
can you see it?
yeah, that is, yeah, I'm very happy to agree.
Yeah.
So in the month of November, we will receive, 4 vessels. So we continue to see, volumes push out, volumes take away, ships around lower volumes than we had budgeted, so. That continues to be a trend that we're seeing in the market. We're, make that. We expect or forecasted for 2023, just due to market conditions.
Just 4 vessels.
Yeah, for December.
So, looking at the variance for the 2022 to 2023 year-to-date total tonnage, it's about a third off. Has that impacted headcount for the quarter?
Yeah, so if you look at headcount 2022 versus 2023, it's down.
About how much?
It roughly, we say roughly 10 people.
40 or?
You know, it was out of, let's see, it's probably at 60 or 60 last year. And so now we're in the low 50s.
So is there, a plan for sort of the turnaround or what's the goal for this?
Yeah, we've got, we're close to hiring another business development, sales focused person to be able to contact and reach out to more, ocean carriers, freight forwarders to try to funnel cargo and import. That's the goal.
And what are we hearing from our current customers about their needs or the cargo they need, and are you focusing on gaining customers or?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Feedback that we've received from current customers is very good. Compliments in the industry are rare, but I can't remember which month it was. I think it was late October. We got feedback from SCA that performance was very good. It was one particular ship. It was important to them that they had ice, so we got good feedback there.
So do you see it more as just an anomaly or?
These are market volumes. We talk a lot about drivers in the industry and what we can influence. And you know, we can influence customer acquisition, but once the customers put in place and they've opened up the shipping lane, but we don't control their volumes. We can't influence their volumes. We want all the volumes we can get, but they can only move what they're able to sell. And right now they're able to sell less. So ships that are planned with 7,500 tons, some with 5,000 tons. So that's what we're seeing. They're not, a lot of our customers only call this port, so there aren't volumes going somewhere else. They're not opting to go to another customer. So we're getting all the volumes they have.
We're not losing this.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, we're not losing business that somebody else is picking up.
Right.
The business has lower volumes right now, and it's still 100% of this.
Is the paper ship still in or is it gone? The one we just had.
No, it's out.
It's out. It's gone.
So they also have the operating report video.
I think you touched on questions that I had. That is a worrisome figure. 111,000 tons.
We did sign or execute an agreement with a new customer. We can't guarantee the volumes, but we expect it to pick up or start in the next couple of weeks, and it would be the receiving and storage of transformers for solar, and they're roughly shaped like a container and stacked like a container. So we receive those sort of in the port and feed additional revenue. And that's through agreement with freight forwarder that's nationwide. So that's a good start.
You don't need covered storage for that.
Just for others.
Any other questions? We also have to read the operator report, issues and repairs, maintenance funds requests. I think those first two bullets, we touched on the customer service, but maybe not the issues ever.
So we have a maintenance funds request. We've received a bid that we think is acceptable now to repair the canopy. So those repairs are gonna start in December.
What was the date?
In December, we don't have a date, we haven't signed the agreement to be able to, for them to proceed. But we want to get them started in December, and they'll probably finish early January.
What was the amount of the?
It hasn't, they've given us a quote, the scope wasn't complete, but it's indication that it is acceptable, it's a good price, it's the best one we've received yet. So it is, as soon as we get it, as soon as it's firmed up, we can pass that, and submit it.
Yeah, so if we have a existing agreement with the contractor to do that type of work, if it doesn't hit a certain threshold, then we have to keep it out, but just.
Oh,
touch
what
because-
is that threshold?
Because it's a public building, if it's exceeds a certain statutory threshold, it has to go through the public process. We can take it back in line.
Yeah. I can remember.
Okay, you can send it, okay, all right.
I will call it 3,000, but I think.
Okay, we think it'll be under 50,000.
Okay, which is, do you mind just validating the factor?
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. No, that's a good point.
okay, so we're down to the maintenance fund to request, is that an action item for us tonight?
Mhm.
Yes.
Is that a resolution?
No, no resolution. The last request was just voted on by the board or approved.
We have 19,249.
That was the first one,
So
correct?
that was maintenance request number 1. This is maintenance request number 2. I believe the amount was roughly 44,000.
24,540.
Acceptable.
The amount requested is 29,000.
That's right.
Move to approve the funding request.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
What is that money going to?
It's crane repairs.
Bring
Yeah,
would be fine.
it's the.
Libra crane?
Yeah, that's right.
Can you just summarize the issue and, give us a little bit of background?
Yeah, so it's, hydraulic hoses for the biggest piece, just gauge, worn, leaking. Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I put it closer. Is that okay? Is that better?
Better.
Got it real close. So the majority of it is hydraulic hose repair. So, the hoses were aged, cracking, leaking, and so we cleaned all that up and replaced the vast majority of it.
Did we have the parts on hand or were they?
No.
Okay.
No. So
So
we had to,
you have an inventory of parts.
yeah, we do. We try to keep critical spare, but they were, this is almost everything.
Is it out of service or is this just repair or,
No, it was
Maintenance.
out of service during repairs, but the repairs are complete now.
oh, okay.
So David, did you move this request, you have a recommendation?
I did with you and had a conversation with Greg, it's in the appropriate use of those funds. And I like the way where the team time to standardize the procedure and the forms that we're using, I think it's pretty clear what the total cost of the project is, and then they're netting out 15,000 that they're responsible for, 15,000, so $44,000 repair, over to that $29,000 about that. So yeah, it meets the requirements of maintenance of the store.
Anybody else have any questions about the maintenance account or about the basis for approval? Or would you like to vote?
Oh,
No more discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion to approve the maintenance expense in the amount of $29,540.27 out of our maintenance account, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So that was the last item from our moderator. That takes us to new video reports.
Thank you. So we've been spending a lot of time trying to get things moved along and wrapped up as quickly as I can, for my last official day of next week. We'll be meeting on Monday to review status of all the projects and look forward to that. As a general update, the CDP request for the loan application services for architectural help with the help of the conceptual design and cost estimate. Those responses are due by 3 o'clock tomorrow. So far, we have some interest from at least one bidder, but no telling how many may receive the day. So, we'll know more tomorrow afternoon. The warehouse project that we approved last month as well. That contractor, the contractor is being reviewed by the operator's legal counsel. And hopefully we'll have a community contract that we can present to the contractor shortly during that week. I have spoken with the contractor and let him know that probably January at the earliest. So people will be able to do that contract. So that's a good start. The resiliency plan, unfortunately, is moving along slower than I have hoped for or expected. I'm told we might have a draft on either this week or early next week. But I've been told about the full as I receive it, we'll receive it, and we'll review and get that approved. There was a MARAD request that was made a couple of weeks ago with some clarification, some of you guys in the article that was in the paper, related to the MARAD, and other, and there was concern on MARAD about changing the function of the tether from being negotiable and to be docket code. So I responded to their request for information indicating that the tug was always intended to be a docket code, and spelled out clearly as far as I was
Yeah, that's in the document.
in the application itself. And so that response went back in a week or 2 weeks ago now, and haven't heard anything back. But we'll continue to work with them and making sure we're operating to try to get the facility going. But I think hopefully all parties can understand what the purpose of that cover is that we require. With that, that's about all I've got right now as major project updates. Again, I'll be Joe and Bill on Monday to do a little deeper dive in terms of the file. In the meantime, I do want to thank all of you and the previous board for giving me the opportunity to serve in this role. One that I have enjoyed over the last year and a half. I think we made overall very good progress in a lot of different areas, including rebuilding important relationships with the community, with the city, with the state. And so I think that was a big focus of my time, and then also getting the national plan approved was a big effort. Updating the tariff and some other issues that were all over. So it's been from my perspective, it's been a great opportunity. I thank you again and staying willing to assist in and move forward.
Thank you, David, and appreciate all the time and energy you put into helping us with the time that you've been able to help us. So wish you well on the next endeavor, and look forward to meeting with you Monday to understand what open items are. Will you have a final written report for that?
I can certainly that's helpful. While we meet on Monday, look at the details and some of that conversation.
Cool. Especially with Mira, he's
I just want to say, I really appreciate working with David this past year. He's really enlightened me on a lot of things and really been helpful to me as far as having a better understanding of all the port operations, not just local operations, but federal and state. And frankly, I don't know who's gonna pick up the gavel when he leaves for his role. There's a lot of things he did that some of you may not be aware of, that somebody's gonna have to take the ball and run. And I just don't know who that's gonna be. We've got to find somebody for the Florida Ports Council. We've got to have somebody working with the FDOT for our grants. What's some other things, David, that are in the air right now that we need?
The major outstanding items are the customs.
Right. Right.
Getting the construction going on with that courthouse. And then implementing whatever direction you have on whatever, as we look at resiliency plan, seeking federal or other dollars to make those necessary improvements. So we're probably at a high level of the biggest challenge I think. Then of course, you're just doing the general prediction.
I'm just gonna throw this out there right now. I know we're gonna still have to pay David for a few more months for his agreement runs out, but I think maybe we might want to consider hiring him as a consultant and paying him, when he does whatever he does, whenever we need him. That's not something we can decide tonight, but I just wanted to put that out there because we're going to need help from somebody. Unless some of you want to take up the ball and run with it. I just wanted to put that out there, but thank you, David. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, thank you.
So the customs and border protection, that's 8A on the agenda, is that anything? I guess you just gave a brief update.
Yeah, we're like, still be or to be responsible for that. Depending on what the responsible look like. The government stuff.
So given that the lease is up in April, could we go ahead and begin the process of renewal?
So we reached out to Director Brass. If they want to do it, we updated all the are, and she sent an email. I believe it was 42, indicating that discussion is dependent on moving forward with the project. And that it is really a separate agency, department of the agency that will be evolving. So once we get the response back tomorrow, whatever it may be, then I think we'll be in a better position to have that conversation with Director Bradshaw. She's going to be looking for and the agency looking for a time schedule and plan going forward.
When David and I met with him last month, she was concerned about a lot of things, but once we told her what our plans were, hired an architect and looking at options that we may have. They even suggested some things that we're looking at. And right now, they're okay with everything as long as we keep moving forward. Once we get the architect on board and start getting plans laid out and start getting him headed in the right direction with design and figuring out where we're going to put it and how much it's going to cost, and all that stuff. They're pretty happy with it. Right?
Well, so part of it depends on the result of this first level. Because we're at the cost, right? So depending on how costly the facility is, will then dictate what your financial strategy is going to be in that application. If it is of such a scale that you can fund it out of the FSCA grant, at least half of it, fund the other half, you could be in design and construction around that dollars, build, whatever the option would be, you could be in design and construction summer next year, You know, and then, again, what the option is, right, we're looking at everything from renovating the existing facility and adding on to it, to putting in a modular building, to building a new, you know, there's the whole option. And each one of those will have its own contract associated with it. As far as the hotel, it's certainly a multi-year process to do that. What we talked about with Dr. Bradshaw was doing a new lease on a year-to-year renewal basis so that they can track our progress and make sure that we're moving forward. As opposed to trying to do 5 years or something like that. They want to know that we're actually working towards.
So, could we go ahead and start the ball rolling to get a renewal in front of them? Is it just gonna be?
It'll be a chief and lease, so they will produce that lease document, but we will have to review and approve, obviously. They're generally some seen more leasing. They don't pay them, so, it's not a negotiated fee or lease rate, they have to worry about.
I just know with, the holidays, just this timeline, it might be good to go ahead and ask them just to generate a draft. So that the can look at it, even if it's not.
Separate questions today, and again, those offers, let's see where we go.
Yeah, well, okay, Roseanne, send me the existing lease for the customer. Well, just review that, I'll see what the sunsetting or termination or extension, and then it'll give me familiarity with their.
Anyone else? Okay, next on the business is the fourth tugboat call-out inspection update.
Yes, I mean, it's part of my committee report, but I should go ahead and give you an update on that.
But we could also get, we could add.
He's got something on it.
Do you have an update on the fourth one?
Right now, it's scheduled to, be back with the boards on Monday, is what they're telling us. We suspect there will be some coordination for payment required, possibly ahead of time, so we're assuming that that'll take a few days to sort out, so, we're hopeful next week we'll have it back.
Can you explain how the cost of the tubs coming from Jacksonville is currently being borne by customers, or how that is just passed on, or how does that typically?
Yeah, it's passed through.
And what's the difference?
Yeah, most vessels require, more than just the one tug. And so, where we would normally pass through, like, you say, what's the cost difference? Everybody's telling you.
Those tubs coming from Jacksonville.
If I could chime in.
That-
Cost difference, you have the mode and depots, that's a lot of the additional cost. It's mobilization of the unit from Jacksonville. So our price is at or below what the hourly rate or the use fee is. It's the mode and demo of the other tug. The other point to make is the Jacksonville tugs that come, we have nothing to do with that. That's between the vessel and the engine. So there's a pass through or whatever, that's not us.
Okay, and do they always need a ton on both ends of the?
No.
That's up to the pilot, so if it's depending on the tide and the currents, they may be able to take it out without a tug or with one. If they brought up a two, it just depends. It's all case by case.
Okay, so if the department pilot make a decision.
Yes,
If they have to use it on that one.
correct.
Okay. Any other questions about the tub?
No, not good. I got something else about the customs house, so, but,
You want to go back to?
yeah, let me do that. What's the guy's name? And was he with GSA? That sent us that big list of things. They were looking at a customs inspection, some inspection. GSA requires all facilities to undergo a security assessment. And to ensure the facility is up to par, up to code. And they sent a long list of, like 2 pages list of a checklist.
It was forwarded to the full board.
Yeah. And I talked to the guy today and he said everything was looking good. I mean, Greg had been talking to him, sending emails. So they're okay with it. He's coming up here sometime this month, or said it may have to be put off first of the year. Just to inspect the customs house. I said, why haven't you done this before? I said, I've been on this board for 16 years. I've never seen that done. Said, well, sometimes we just overlook things, but they're gonna do it this time. And
So was the questionnaire number 2 completed eventually?
Yeah, it had been completed. Are you talking about his response saying,
Response was
yeah.
like you never submitted it.
yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't see the second tab.
Okay.
So we responded and said, yeah, all the questions are there. It's just in another tab. So everything he asked had a response.
it was a standard checklist to cover all facilities everywhere. So it was very comprehensive and a lot of things it just doesn't apply to us. And so, but I
So
think
do you complete that, or do you have the customs border patrol completed?
No, it was intended for the Customs and Border Patrol to complete it, but they were unresponsive.
Yeah.
So we as the operator just had our local folks answer all the questions, and then we consolidated them, return them.
And when is that visited? Which is
it was set up for December the 12th, I believe, but he said he couldn't come that day, so he's gonna try to do it maybe the first of the year. He'll let us know.
sounds good. Did you have any other action items in that?
No.
New business, line A, 2024 open meeting schedule. So I did want to talk about that. So the meetings are listed, to the end of the agenda. Well, we can also get into this. I think you guys would like to talk about it. Oh, yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, you skipped one.
AC, Over property sale, selection of the broker. We have 3 brokers, remaining. And their information is in the packet. And then there goes to realty. Keller Williams. Sorry, I scrolled the last one.
Savannah Land,
Savannah,
It's EXP commercial.
okay.
Savannah Land dropped out.
No, she's a broker. She's a realtor for EXP commercial.
Oh.
And she did email me, Madam Chair, this afternoon. She's unable to attend tonight's meeting.
Are any of the brokers present?
Nope.
I do not see.
I'd like to make a motion for discussion that we consider Amelia Coastal Realty and Phil Griffin.
I'll second, just for discussion.
Motion is second to consider the Coastal Realty for discussion. Any discussion?
I just know that I've had dealings with, I can't say dealings, I've worked with Mr. Griffin on various boards. Known him for, I guess, 20 years now. I know that his company is doing well. The information that I've researched from, I feel like he would be a good fit for us.
Any additional discussion?
If I, and my vote tonight, is in no way a reflection on any of these brokers.
We're not going to vote.
Correct, yes. Thank you. But I want to make sure that we at least pick the right person, or the process is going to be much better than it was last time.
Yeah.
Looking at some of these proposals, I know I see 2 of them. These are going to be original proposals, but do these brokers know that we're now looking at just 1 property versus the 3 that they listed in their proposal, and also the deed restrictions? I know that can come during the discussion we have with them, but
You
Do they
know,
know this? Do you know?
I cannot say.
I just want to make sure that moving forward that we're clear, you know, we're
Right.
communicating clearly and effectively with them, so we don't have a similar situation.
That's one property and we'll have to make sure they do know that and the deed restrictions are gonna be part of that, absolutely,
That's something you want.
yeah.
So Commissioner Taylor, just given the time that's gone by and the kind of changes, we would add some details to the listing agreement to make sure we're crystal clear on what's happening, what's expected, what we're talking about, any limitations. We can make sure that.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, we'll go from here.
So is there any other discussion that this, the motion and discussion is just about, ACR? Or did anyone want to make a motion discussing amounts?
What is his fee? I haven't pulled it up yet. I don't see it.
6%.
I think they're all about the same.
So again, if you select someone tonight, the listing agreement's gonna come back.
Right.
So if you have any issues in terms of the agreement or, you know, rates, duration, all of that will be back in front of you. I would recommend you just pick someone and authorize essentially me at this point to negotiate, at least review their listing agreement, make some comments, and then we'll bring it back to you, provided the selected broker agrees with any initial comments I have. If they don't, I can forward to you, whatever your direction is, but you know, put all, make sure all that's in the agreement itself, so we'll have to come back for you.
David, when you were looking at these, did you, have a recommendation to the board for any particular, proposal based on either the cost or qualifications?
Well, I think in this review, I think I put together a matrix and I think you should use that in as well. And as I recall, what I have in front of me that Atlantic Coastal was the second rank behind Mr. Norman. So, I believe they had a good handle on the market. And an understanding of OHPA and all over the community and so forth. So, believe that.
Was that
Makes
right?
sense.
And, the proposal, the letter includes $1,000 fee if OHPA terminated the listing agreement early, like the site not sell. So that would just cover marketing efforts.
They recall that we asked each of them
What's
to
on mine?
understand that we're looking also for program value. You know, some of that included in the video knowledge.
Oh.
He's going to provide the costs.
Yeah,
He's going to do a cost.
is the right.
But after signing the agreement, so.
Yeah.
6% commission, 5% if it's sold with no buyer or 25% buyer forfeited binder deposit. What is that?
This is a binder, and then if they back out, they lose that binder, that deposit.
Yeah.
And then he said, 25% of that. We get for the-
Oh, he wants a commission on,
The buyer,
okay, I got it. He wants a commission on if the buyer wants.
But that comes from the buyer, right? Yeah.
Everyone.
Is that necessary?
Pretty much.
I've seen it before. It was not in many other proposals. So although that would be customary, I don't think it's unusual. And again, I think, you know, that was their proposal. There's an opportunity, I believe, you know, through Patrick to negotiate some of those terms and come out with something that is acceptable to both parties. I would base this discussion factor on qualifications of the firm and the individual, various buyers, and then I would allow Patrick to work out the terms of the agreement that we
Okay.
So this dated letter we're looking at is dated June 29th, and the letter is dated June 29th, and it says for 3 parcels. Has there been any update since, the scope has been narrowed to 1? Do we need to ask? Do we know whether or not they are still interested in a smaller scope?
I know for a fact that Mr. Griffin said he is still interested in being considered, and that's it. That's all he told me.
But you said, yeah, so that's why I was asking whether we don't know, they know that we're looking at.
Correct. It would be nice if they're here, but, and they were notified.
So, since we issued an RFP with all 3 parcels, I think we said in RFP that we could decline to award it all, and not inconsistent, we can modify the scope.
Now, Trevor, one thing is they consider doing, not just to move this along and having someone at the district and also is rather than just selecting one, maybe you rank the third and allow Patrick to start the first negotiate agreement with the person or bring back. If for some reason they're not interested or we can't be firm, so we have to go to another 2-man firm and so on until we get somebody that we can bring a contract back to for consideration, rather than having to wait a month at a time to see whether or not any of these folks continue that.
Is that a question?
Keller Williams.
This isn't procurement, right? So this is professional services. What you've asked for is qualification. So this is not procurement.
Right.
It's a different animal. You can cancel the process and start over. You can just cancel the process and say, we know who these people are, we're going to reach out to them and see if they're still interested, we have their qualifications, you're not obligated to do anything. And even selecting someone tonight or ranking tonight, whatever you want to do, obviously, whether it's myself alone or with Roseanne, we will update whoever this person is and say, this is what we need now. If you're interested, send a listing and we'll take a look at it. And we can go one at a time, we can go down the list, we can ask for listing agreements from all 3 of them. You're not obligated to do anything. So at this point, you've done the request work. You can kind of do whatever you want with the information. You're not buying trucks or cranes or anything like that. You've asked to know, are you qualified to do this? Do you understand what we're asking for? The answers were all different. They all, to me, had terms that I would question for check to. So, you know, again, if you've got a motion on the floor in a second, I would suggest you pick someone, let's start talking to them. Or
The motion was to discuss the one candidate.
Yeah. A motion to discuss is not a proper motion.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
It's not an action.
Right. You can second to discuss, a motion should be to take action, so I think the motion was improperly worded, but you all were debating and discussing, and I knew that was gonna happen, so we're kind of wait and then confirm what the actual motion is. So whether you want to select one, rank all 3, and direct Roseanne and I to talk to all 3 or talk to one, it's really up to what you all want to do. Obviously, we're gonna get new information back because we're giving new information. So it's not gonna look the same, it's not gonna sound the same because it's not the same. And I will certainly provide comments like I did last time, and then ultimately you'll see either a red line of my comments, and you also decide what you want to do.
Enough of that, Chairman, the RFP that we just did with the CDP design for, following that same premise that we would receive proposals, including a whole, that we would rank them based on qualifications and give them the contract firm, understanding that we didn't have to hire anyone, but that we
Right.
could start application like whatever the terms of that contract were. So it's possible. Before and saves a lot of time and effort. But I keep on back and forth, working, providing with the ranking of what it was procedural.
Patrick, do we need a motion to do that, or can the chairman just direct you to start that negotiation?
Well, I need to know what's moving. So,
Okay.
you know, it's how you all want to proceed as a board. You want to give me authority to start talking to these folks, I would prefer a motion for action by the board to say, Patrick and or Rosanna, go talk to this particular person or talk to all three of them, come back with more information or draft listing agreements. I would prefer action by the board on that step. It's not required. We can have Rosanna, you know, communicate with them and say, we've updated what we want and we'd like updated proposals. You know, that's probably gonna take you another, you know, couple of months,
Mhm.
you know, to get all that in, or you can give me the authority to start talking to these people and start working on listing agreements, whether it's one of them, or all three of them, or two of them, or we can start with.
So what do we need with the motion on the floor now?
Oh, it was just for discussion.
Okay.
It wasn't a motion for action. I
Uh,
mean, I would be in favor of getting some updated proposals since these are all from June. And we don't even know at this point if they would honor what they presented.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that, we allow Patrick to, talk to all three, respondents, update the information they need and come back with, a listing agreement.
I think he was suggesting that Rosanna get updated letters from them before negotiating this.
Either way,
I'm happy to work with Rosanna,
yeah,
maybe you've got a motion on the floor and discussing it. Whatever you want.
so that was a motion. Second,
So I mean, Rosanna can provide the updated info
Right.
of this parcel, you know, she can do that, and I'm happy to participate, or, you know, if there are any follow-up questions. My recommendation would be to update them where we are now and ask for draft listing agreements, not, we have that application.
right,
So let's skip that, you know who they are, and let's go to some draft listing agreements from all three of them.
that's my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor and a second, if you're amending your motion for Rosanna and Patrick to go to each of the three firms and request updated proposals that are ready for signature. So
Yes.
just agreements ready for signature to be submitted.
Sounds good?
So Commissioner Ford, that's your motion,
Yes.
and Commissioner Ford, that's your second.
All right, any further discussion of that? So since we're in the discussion phase on that motion, I just would like to reiterate before we call the vote that we had asked at the last several meetings where this has come up, what the use of the funds is. And when we first came up with the concept of hiring a real estate broker to look at our underutilized land, part of what we were asking for were other ideas of what they would do, what we could do to monetize that land. And we haven't really gotten any additional information about how we could potentially monetize the property ourselves and get revenue streams from it. That hasn't been included in any of this discussion. We're going straight to this. So I just want to call that out. And that we also haven't fully confirmed what we are doing with the funding and how we will ensure that it's used for that purpose. We're going to be talking about selling what we have. Is there any other discussion?
And just to go back to the first thing that I was saying was, with those, in no way a reflection on these RFPs, or these brokers, you know, some of them, great people, great, you know, businesses in the community, but it's my vote is, you know, really a reflection on, this whole deal altogether.
Any additional discussion on the motion or on the phone?
I made a motion and I was looking forward in the minutes, how that money's gonna be used. And I'd like to find it here. You find it for me?
We put it on. No.
Yeah, you got it there?
No, you don't.
Commissioner Fuller, you're talking about the November 8th minutes.
Yeah. Page 9.
The item 9C.
But it's in there somewhere.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any additional discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no.
No.
Motion carries 3-2. Just to confirm, that was myself and I was Vice Chair Giller in the second. Next item. Okay. New business, 9A, 2024 open meeting schedule. So I would like to propose, I believe we've already canceled the second meeting in December because it's very close to the holidays. I would like to propose that we have a meeting just to approve the customs RFP, and that we cancel the regular meeting for January and the 10th, but we keep the second meeting in January. Rosanna has also listed out, in April, she has a conflict on the 10th, which is the first meeting in April. So I would propose that we not hold that meeting, but I'm open to other people's comments. And I would also propose that we strike the November 27th meeting because that's Thanksgiving. Anybody have any other custom changes?
And the December 18th, maybe?
December 18th, you would like to strike that meeting?
Yeah, I think so.
I agree with that. So we would have one meeting in November, one meeting in December.
And you wanted to meet, I'm sorry that I didn't get the first of,
I wanted to strike the January 10th meeting, only because it's the start of the month, to keep the 24th, because it's really likely have a very light agenda. And in fact, I think the main thing is really the approval of the custom house. So I was going to propose the end meeting.
When you have the customs house, I hope you will have the construction.
yeah, right.
So the meeting just to discuss those plans.
Well, I'm sure something else will come up. But it's up to you. You Chair.
So
Madam Chair. So what I have down here is to strike January 10th, April 10th, November 27th, December 18th. What about February 14th? That's our first meeting in February. That's Valentine's Day.
Oh, come on. Come on. He can take you out to dinner out.
Meeting, I'll be out of the country, that week, so we'll be here. Just let us know, you know,
On February 14th.
February.
Anybody else? I mean, we can always cancel meetings, right, if we notice, but it's harder to add meetings.
You won't be
later
here the 14th?
because of notice requirements.
I need a week before the meeting
Yeah.
to notify the PEC Center.
Okay. So, as with those changes, we'll adopt that schedule for next year,
Okay, thank you.
unless there's any objection, discussion. Anything on that? All right, thanks. Moving on. New business. The Upstead FPC representative. I'd actually like to move this down to the committee appointments for that discussion. 9C, currently in our harbor realignment, this is their resolution attached to the agenda, and this was approved at a previous, we've approved this at previous meetings. It's been in the works for, I think now,
20
years. Yeah. And this was part of our interlocal agreement with the city. I think it's great that we're finally moving forward. So I would just be looking for a motion and a second to
approve.
right. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
How does this different than the resolution we already have on file?
It's
it's the written concurrence with resolution. Do you want to explain?
I think they moved the part of the channel.
Say, different on, now, and as I recall, the division that the last time was in conjunction with the city. So this is a standalone, ocean power authority. Understanding the city has already done their own, as to some of the other issues.
And you'll note at the end of the first sentence that the cost associated with the alignment from the responsibility of the federal government.
Yes, there's no cost to, overall cities.
And, oh, not to put you on the spot, Greg, but has your team evaluated the location of the channel realignment or kind of confirmed that it's not an issue for operations?
The portion of the town can be aligned down with the city marine.
They're not.
Waivers, or, okay, that, working, so, this will be on the same area. Okay.
It's actually a portion of the channel is not maintained in the, it's on the charts as a channel.
Yeah, and just to recap, for anybody not remembering, this was as part of the discussion of potential expansion of the marina, which would be on the open bank there, which we approach in the federal. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion passes. So, agreement with coast to coast.
So the first bullet, there's one that I'm supposed to be being reviewed currently by staff, legal counsel. Once they approve the final document, we'll come back and then to Patrick, and then we can submit it to post the coast for their approval. And hopefully have all that done, needed to then. The second item is the separate agreement between OPA and Savage for them to provide the matching funds for the grant and for them to do the daily administrative management of the project. And I believe that was impacted or submitted. So, hopefully, if you either approve it now, we can wait to January to, as part of the construction agreement, but, that one, again, provides for Savage to make the match on the grant, provides for them to fund and pay for the fee associated with the grant money, because what work council, and then also approves about $2,000 in legal expenses, so Patrick to do what they decided on the grant, and then to do all the day-to-day project management stuff with our project.
I was looking for them, are they attached? I don't see them.
I'm
attached.
sorry, it's not attached.
Chairman, my recommendation, unless Greg Savage objects, we need to do those together. Let's get the agreement back, the actual construction contract act. And let's make sure, I don't want you to approve an agreement that there's no contingency language that is contingent on approving the other agreement. And you're just gonna have this random agreement out there. Let's do that all at once.
Okay, and, can you just, when we are negotiating those agreements, just to confirm that the warehousing usage of the structure is only in conjunction with cargo handling, and that it's not long-term housing, because currently we don't have an agreement for warehousing,
Sure.
and we don't have, and obviously we don't get any revenues for warehousing because it doesn't support faster throughput. But if there is a plan, a long-term housing, then don't want that to be, you know, in support of the purpose of, corresponding with these two. Commissioner reports upon city deal, anything else on that item? I'm sorry, David, were you calling this action on that item?
He was, and I asked you not to.
Okay, right.
Mhm.
Any other discussion? Okay. All right. Moving on. 10A, Commissioner reports and comments, new business development reports. It's the
was this kept on for David or just generally for?
It was included in your code of ethics, document, so I just kept it on there.
So this is part of our original agenda, which I think is a good thing for us to include. We have in our committee discussion on the next item, a specific committee for economic development, and that's the Nassau County Economic Development Board, so it's CEDB. But economic development really should be all of our jobs. And also the operative shop, related to the board. Did anybody have anything to report in terms of business development, across the county?
I don't, but I'd like to offer something. Watched the presentation last night from Taco Pro about the new development, the northeast section of Nassau County. It's a very good presentation, and it's something that we might want to look at as far as talking about business development. There's a lot of things going to be going on out there. I would like to invite him to give that presentation to the board sometime first of the year, and he's agreed to do that if we want him to.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
One thing I would propose for this item, right now it's just a new development. And there are excellent programs available to the county and state through federal and state funds, which allow for conservation initiatives, preservation initiatives. Given this code of reach for OHPA, I would request that you change 10A to new development report. It could be just generally the benefit of the county. It could be job creation initiatives that are considered business.
Sounds good.
And then moving on to the community appointments. So some folks have submitted to Rosanna their preferences for committees, health security, FDOT, customs house, and port facility, Army Corps, and development. They're listed in the agenda. And I know historically, Commissioner Nelson has reported on port security and customs house and port facilities, but I wanted to request, I haven't had the opportunity to discuss with Commissioner Nelson because of the sunshine law, but I would like to ask that you serve in the capacity of FDOT representative, and the reason I would ask that is that you have just a really great working knowledge of the board, and I think the grant funding that is available to the board, you would really have a great sense of how that would translate into open projects. And I think you would also challenge that process to figure out what the benefit is for the community of the county. So I'd like to ask if you would be willing to serve in that capacity with DOT and continue to update customs house and port facilities, and if you would support security, traditionally given us that as well. So,
Madam Chair,
and I'm getting to the next one. So,
well, can I say something about what you just said, though? I'd like to divide the customs house and port facilities into two categories, and I'd like to keep the customs house, since I'm involved in all the discussions so far that's been going on with the customs house. And I think port facilities would be great for Ray, to Commissioner Nelson, to continue it.
yeah, I think it's a natural fit with the port facilities, and I'd like to keep them together for now, but I would ask if you're willing to serve for the Army Corps of Engineers, because I think that's been, you've done a great job with those reports, and you have good relationships with them. And also, development. If I saw that you requested that one also.
Well, Commissioner Cole is still on the board of economic development.
Okay, so did you want to not request that?
Would that be a conflict?
Okay, so if Nassau County Economic Development Board, you're serving as the, are you
I'm serving under the office of,
Okay, okay,
but I'm on the board until 2025.
so that makes sense for you to stay on that position, okay? Commissioner Cole will be on economic development, and then for emergency management, I think you also requested that.
Correct, I still have my background check, my badge, I work the, EOC when there's hurricanes or other emergencies, so.
Okay. And then, the technical coordinating committee, Commissioner Fullwood, would you be willing to serve in that capacity?
No, ma'am.
For TCC, Commissioner Paul, did you have any interest in serving in that time?
Not on the TCC now, I come off of the TPO this month, this is my last month as chair of the TPO.
Okay.
Step down from that, and the way I understand it, you wouldn't come back to serve on their board, being a past chair.
Okay,
I don't know of any that are back that serve on that board that were past chairs.
okay, so for the TCC, Commissioner Taylor, would you be willing to serve as technical coordinating committee?
So my concern, I mean, only issue with that, was trying to do that, this past year, you know, David, was that, it's a staff member, but it's generally, it's like, it's the staff, for, you know, municipalities, their staff and everything. Is more just like timing when they need, in the schedule, it just makes it a little difficult, location.
Yeah, I can check, with Jeff to see if he needs a board member.
As Commissioner Kelly indicated, the way the PTO discussion, the PTO board is made up of elected people. And then with PAs, you typically staff member from different agencies. So that, in your case, actually, if you had a staff opportunity going forward without a staff member, you know, it could be a board member, or you just pass them on that. In your presentation on it. Nassau County is already represented on it. In fact, at today's meeting, more than public works director, I believe, Nassau County is like chair of the committee for next year.
Yes. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me, but that would be a committee.
Doesn't have to be, again, it's available to you, there's no contact, no important information. Generally, the TAC only makes recommendations to the TPO board. So as long as you're represented on the board, you're seeing the same information. But the TAC is just being a week later and without some of the technical background of the item.
So we'll move on to the TPO. So I've been attending the meetings, also as an alternate, and I was served in that capacity in the last year. So I was going to ask Commissioner Hall if you'd be okay with me serving in that capacity.
I think, well, that's what you should do, and when
At the end of your term.
yeah, when I leave at the end of this term, then you would give our authority reports, you know, you would be our representative to give the authority reports.
Awesome. And I'm glad you brought up the reports, because in several reports, when I reached out asking who they would like to serve as a representative, what the feedback I get is that they want a report and they want us to give reports. So at this meeting, we would be giving reports from the last TPO meeting, whenever it was, like we would write them on. And then we would bring forward a court report. So I actually think we can make that job a lot easier for the commissioners by asking for a report that we can carry to those boards. And I've shared that same feedback with each of those other boards so that there's consistent sharing and coordination. But I think the port operators report is a great source of information, but it would be helpful to have just some snippets of, you know, the key takeaways that we want the rest of the county to hear about the Port of Bernardino. And I think, you know, if someone from Savage would be willing to provide us some key facts about what's going on at the board, what's the good news, what are the, what's the positive that you want people to hear in the community? Because like, for example, the TPO board, there's 30 people in a room, and they all touch all the different parts of the state and our area. And with Jack's board, their representative, Sue, she always has like, 5 different great projects going on that board. Of course, they are these, gangbusters, right? But it would be nice to be able to have something to offer, about what's happening in our part of the boards. And the other thing I want to add is that for the TPO, Fernandina and Yulee, the area just off the island is its own, area, its own urbanized area. And so we have the ability to have a little bit more say, not an entire seat, but we do have the ability to have a little bit more say in that process because of our community there. Okay, so Chamber of Commerce, Commissioner Taylor, I think you had indicated interest, and you do so much with the Leadership Nassau Group, if you wanted to be. Sure. That's great. City of Fernandina Beach. Would you also be willing to serve in that capacity? Sure. And then community outreach, I really think this is everyone's job. Chairman Fullwood, you've always been a great person to join the city meetings and other meetings of interest. So if you'd like to serve on that board or that committee, that would be great.
Do what I can.
And then I added Keep Downtown Beautiful, that has fallen off. And I know Commissioner Cole, I think you were next to this year.
Ex officio on past year, correct.
Okay. In speaking with Linda, because you're not a voting member, I don't think it would be a conflict if another member of our board served.
Correct.
And I was going to suggest, Commissioner Taylor, that's not too many things to ask you to do. But she would also be willing to offer a report that could be carried to our meetings, and they do allow for Zoom meetings with participation. That's way too long. But if you don't want to take it, I'll take it. If that's too many.
Their meetings are every other month. Well, and usually only on about an hour long.
So let me make sure I'm clear here. Is Commissioner Nelson going to handle all communication with the Customs House, Director Bradshaw, and the architect, and do all that work that's necessary to redo the Customs House?
Yes. I mean, well, any activity that's going on with the board is every commissioner's job. But that specific committee is just for gathering information about that particular issue. So talking to Steve Parrott or whoever the local representative is and understanding what the local issues are. In terms of negotiating an agreement with Customs and Border Patrol, that's this entire board and Patrick. So no one member.
But somebody has to be a contact for them.
But no one member of the board should be negotiating an agreement with the CPB.
But there still has to be a contact to talk back and forth to make sure we can bring whatever we need to the board.
Right.
And I've already established relationships there.
Right. But it's just a committee. The committees should move around, right? So that everybody has understanding what's going on. Right.
Okay.
I mean, we do rotate.
Sometimes.
Here, if I may, I can appreciate what Commissioner Full was asking. That's the reason, a month or so ago, I asked who was going to attend that meeting. Because at that meeting, we started a baseline. And whoever was at that meeting is the one that got the information to build on that. So, if you will allow, I will, relinquish that part to Mr. Woodward. Because he's already built that first block. If he needs any assistance, he can, he can ask. But I'm sitting here thinking about the last thing you want to do is throw a curveball at him now and change people that they've discussed.
Absolutely.
So I think it would be, a positive thing for Chairman Fullwood or Mr. Fullwood to stay in that position at this time.
Thank you.
With your permission.
Okay, done. So that makes it one more committee.
Okay.
We'll separate them. as you
Separate,
ask.
yeah.
So with that being said, I'll clarify, I'll take care of port security, port facilities, and FDOT.
Any other questions? I mean, if any of the committees don't interest you, let me know. Now,
Did we scratch TCC completely? Is that what we did?
I think so.
yes,
Okay.
have a committee. Anything else?
Madam Chair,
Administrative officer.
on new business, letter B. Did we,
Oh,
did you
thank
establish
for-
that?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna come back to that.
So for FSTD and FPC, this was part of the discussion about, asking Commissioner Nelson to serve as representative to FDOT. We need a representative to FSTD and to the Board of Works Council. And typically that person has been an employee of here. And that was a problem, for FPC, and they indicated that's not desirable, they want a member of our board. And I think that, in the coming year, that would be a great, it naturally aligns with the FDOT representation, because that's where grant funding is coming through. So I would like to, propose that we consider that for discussion. I can't think of it, but
I can tell you that the next two meetings, the next one will be in Tallahassee, I believe. And January what? 31st, and the next one after that will be in Pensacola. So that's a lot of travel,
Yep, on travel, you're looking at 3 days
3 days.
at least, sometimes 4, depending on the travel days.
I think the next one after that's in South Florida somewhere.
so I'm willing to serve in that capacity. I'm willing to consider a member to the board. Our vice chair would be a natural choice. But I know that you've challenged whether or not we should even be on the board of Works Council. I think someone who doesn't automatically see the value is actually a good person to sign for that. Maybe you have to demonstrate the value to yourself, and you demonstrate the value to the board.
Madam Chair, if we don't have a representative, we'll miss out on a lot of funding.
Sure will.
I agree.
Yeah.
You need that
I agree. I
networking.
think it's very important. I think it's very important, and I would love to serve in the capacity. I would love to travel to Tallahassee or wherever we have a meeting, and I would love to put in the capacity. But this
Cool.
isn't about what I would love to do. It's about what's best for the county, what's best for the port. Right? And so I think that having someone who's gonna, what's the value to Nassau County? What are we bringing? It's gonna be a good advocate for the port. So that was just my proposal. Maybe that's a weird idea.
I think you ought to try it and see.
Okay.
Be a good representative. Go for it.
My other idea.
Fill
was
up your car.
Offer the job to, vice chair.
Chair Hill, I think you're wonderful. I think, no, I don't understand that. And I see where you're going with, asking Commissioner Nelson, and if he passes on that, I do think, you and your role as chair.
As chairperson, yeah.
I think that would be, a great fit for you. And then to bring back all that information and get Commissioner Nelson excited about it.
Do you have any? No? The board's council is great. It's the it's a great opportunity for exposure for our county and also finding what's going on.
Just a lot of travel. All right. Go for
You could just have an expression of consensus that you got with,
it.
you can ask, Chair.
So are you defining?
At this time, I will decline that one in order to put more emphasis on what it's, huge.
So this doesn't have any delegated authority to the board, it's really representing the board to the state, our state lobbyists. And lobbying the funding the federal government to come to our state, to our boards. Okay. I'm giving you all the things.
I hear you.
So you could ask for consensus.
Do we have to do this, that I will present that we, any kind of being vulnerable?
I'm moving with that. Yeah, I'm moving with that.
So then there's consensus that I'm gonna. Office manager report.
Oh, my report is in the packet. And I emailed the full board yesterday about asking for consent to buy a gift for the Fernandina Beach Fire Department, because ever since we moved into the PAC, they've lent us their projector. That is OHPA's projector right now. It came in. So they've been helpful, specifically Deputy Fire Chief Jason Higginbotham. He always assisted me before the meetings. He would set up the projector. So as a thank you for his help, a $50 gift.
I so moved.
The only thing I wanted to just ask, like the gift decorations for the staff, does that apply to all public employees?
I can't hear you. What?
So you can't accept, like when you're in a public position to accept gifts, it's like.
Yeah.
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 And he's not there.
Yeah, $50 is under the limit.
Is he an elected official?
No,
Yeah, it applies to staff.
I think
too.
that, yeah, it's title of staff that will apply
Yeah.
to as well.
Oh.
But I think that.
You just have to.
yeah,
So I will keep it under 50 if I have board permission, and I will go downtown and buy something local.
motion in a second.
Do you need a motion for that? I think it is a consensus.
Just board permission
Okay.
to use OHPA funds. Pierre?
Yeah, I know typically we haven't used OHPA funds to give gifts. We've done like plaques, like small things like that, or we might give a commendation. So I just think the gift giving thing, especially to staff members, is a little, Just
Well, I mean,
personally.
you could decline it. I'm
right,
just,
and I mean, and the problem is there's like so many good community causes, like we've had that discussion before, where we come forth like a donation. But you know, I'm happy to contribute to that personally, but in terms of using OHPA money, I don't think gifts are really.
Madam Chair, we've got a motion and a second to do that, and it's okay with Patrick. It's legal, so I think we should call the vote.
All right. You wanna vote? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. No. All right, motion's on. Anything else?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good.
No, go ahead. I just want to remind you about what tomorrow is, December 7th. Let's keep all those people that died for our country in your prayers. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Anything else?
Yes, so Hey, well, thank you for your service, for the last few years, and, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for what you did. I want to commend Rosanna, for those of you, who may have never attended, the Barnabas, they host the Bowls Luncheon every year, and it's one of the greatest, events. It'll certainly tug your heartstrings. And I'm walking through, and who do I see? I see Rosanna volunteering her time and serving the great folks there, and wrapping bowls, or, everything that you were doing. So I just want to, it was great seeing her there and volunteering, and going to be out there. So thank you so much for that, especially for such a great event, such as the Barnabas and Bowls Luncheon. Also, several weeks ago, I met with Nassau County staff, and so just to kind of piggyback really on what Commissioner Fullwood said, I agree. Getting county manager here and maybe giving a presentation or some of this staff on really what's to come, what's going on. In addition to, we have an opportunity maybe quarterly for someone to give a 15-minute presentation at one of their meetings for what we're doing, and I think that'd be something great for the chair to do. But that's something we need to kind of get on their schedule. But when I went and met with them, really asked, what questions do you have, or what are some ideas or ways that we can work together? It was really they didn't really know. We didn't really know what we could do, because they don't know a whole lot about what we're doing. Recently, I know she's not here tonight, but Holly Coyle, who works for the county, has been attending our meetings. And she said they're riveting, very excited. Not excited, she loved coming. I'm kidding it, but she's been coming so they can kind of get a little more familiar. And I think to continue with that, I think we should, of course, invite them, like Mr. Fuller said, we're talking in the presentation, but also to the date, and maybe the chair get on their agenda, so you can go and give just quarterly updates on what we're doing and what's going on. And not just with them, but with the other municipalities as well. Of course, the Berkeley Beach, with that, but then too, since we're right in our backyard, we're in their backyard. So anyway, that was just kind of my thoughts there. And of course, we wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. Thanks to everyone who's here this evening, and wish you all a very happy evening.
I think that's a great idea about sending the county commission meetings, get the money. We haven't really communicated with them a great deal, and it could open up some doors for us. So I agree.
Good idea. I'll take that suggestion. So I will be representing OHPA at the Leadership Nassau Government Day discussion on the fall. I think it is. And they have, for those who've done Leadership Nassau class, I think they're about 2/3 of the way through. They have a government day, which is one of my favorite days in the program, but it's jam-packed, and they get all the minutes. So pretty good opportunity to elevate what we do and explain more than what's in the paper.
I did that the year you were going through. Yeah, remember that? Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, we're adjourned.